Alright guys, welcome back to RavenwoodGaming and welcome back to Rainbow Six Siege. If you guys been keeping up with my content, I got back into this game probably about a month ago now, roughly. I'm back into playing rank 2. I'm currently bronze 5 maybe? Oh, it's gonna show no rank. Pretty sure I'm bronze 5 right now. Still in the process of climbing out of low elo. I haven't really been in a rush. There's literally only 3 days left of the season. I just kind of want to get back into rank a little bit. But I do want to make a video on tips and tricks. I'm previously a plat player. I've hit plat a few times on different accounts that I own on Xbox and PC. I've hit plat on both versions, console and PC. But I want to make a video today because as I got back into ranked, I've seen some things that coppers should know not to do, and things that bronze and even some silvers I've seen do some of these things as well. The biggest thing is people being too aggressive on attack. When you are on attack, you don't need to be running directly into sight and going 1-for-1 every round and then telling everybody else on your team that they're bad, even though you're 8 kills or 10 kills down, but you're, 11 or 12 deaths in the process. First thing first, always shoot default cams, watch for runouts and spawn peaks. Also, another thing people do is they just constantly sprint around inside the sites and the objectives and whatnot, and you're giving away your location every time you do that. Where are we at? Basement. So let's say I want to breach the window here downstairs on basement. What I'm going to do is obviously I'm going to check to make sure that cam's out, and then I am going to throw out my drone. And I'm gonna scan the room. Let's say they are holding an angle here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my drone. I'm gonna boost it back out this way. Another thing I might do is I might bounce it up here, break the window, create some noise elsewhere. Maybe there's another drone hole here, yeah. So there's a drone hole here in bathroom, so I know that there's a enemy here. And then I know that they're here, and what I might do is I might leave my drone there. I might come over here, might free fire the window, might drop the kill, I might not get the kill. I'm gonna swing this again. Also, when you're swinging, don't use W and S. Don't move back and forth. That makes you swing slower, that makes you peek slower. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get back on my drone. I'm gonna scan the area. I'm gonna see if anyone's gonna rotate to watch the window. I'm gonna see what this guy's doing down here, so I can see that he's watching the window, but I'm covered by the lockers. So I'm gonna enter, I'm gonna peek left, I'm gonna take control of sight here, and then I'm gonna start peeking this and pushing this. So now I have this side of the map cleared. Also, you should never peek like this. You should always peek aiming down sights. You should never be on ADS while moving and traversing the map. We're also going to check popular sitting points on objective here. This is the basement objective. There's no bombs in here. We're in clear house right now. So we just ping that. No, he's there. We're gonna swing out the other side. But now, like there's more here. Oh, they're both on stairs. So we're in peak stairs. I like to hug the wall as I come up. Did we miss somebody? Alright, so we know there's one person. Once again, don't always aim low, aim high. Oh, so this guy's outside for Oh, I know where he's at. They consider this basement, so they spawn an enemy here. Alright, so let's say we breach this, we clear this, we're approaching the site here. We're going to want to look into site, but also have situational awareness of where what. So one thing I like to do is I like to quick peek, throw a grenade, get them moving, try to pick them off that way, but you also have to keep a line of sight there. I always swing this way. That way I can get out of the staircase, because that is kind of a bad location if you're not going to camp it constantly. But for the sake of this video, we're just gonna kind of go through it a bit, just so we can get into the map again. Alright, let's say they have this objective over here on the first floor. Now, be aware, there is metal detectors here. This will give off sound. So if you push that, you need to kind of push it very tightly at an angle and try not to go through those metal detectors unless you have to. Or if you want to be aggressive about it and play it and still kind of play it safe, you can throw a grenade that way. Clear left there. You can clear right. Now they know I'm here, so we're going to quickly peek that way. We're going to be ready for the peeks. So as I clear this, I'm looking, as I swung this room right here, I was looking for common sitting spots right at the door, by the desk, etc. There was one guy trying to swing me. I got the swing because I was already ADS'd. So I do hear people moving around. So what I'm going to do, if I know there's a guy here in the hallway, I'm going to swing him. At this point, I have sight control already, so technically I could play it safe. I could have my teammates cover the other sides while I sit here and plant. That's always an option. Alright, so now we're second floor. This is the main bomb site everybody plays. If I'm going up printer stairs, or as I like to call it, blue. All I'm going to do is try to look that way as much as I can. Then I'm going to swing it and double check back. Then I'm going to push forward. I'm going to push back and try to bait them to me. So I want to watch this side over here as well. I may swing again. Push back to reload. Obviously, these NPCs are not like actual players. So here, as you push up to this door, what you want to do is you kind of want to hug this. Because then they're gonna, if they're peeking, they're gonna have to shoot head level, kind of. I might open this up a little bit to try to get a line of sight in. Use the wall as cover. And once again, as I'm clearing even through the hole I made, I'm looking at the popular spot to sit there. Now in this situation, when you're swinging, you will have to press W to move up. So just be ready to take a gunfight when that happens. Let's say this wall's open, then I'll continue to watch and monitor it. try to, you know, keep the person in there. Or I can always, you know, I always do this. My mouse cooperates. What is going on here with Siege? There we go. That was a little bit of a bug, but things happen. Alright, let's quickly go over vertical angles. You guys saw me clear a few rooms here. You never want to peek like this. I know I was walking around a little bit like this and peeking like this and clearing rooms a little bit. I just did that for speed because these AIs aren't strong. Now, what you want to do when you're playing verticals, you want to position yourself in a way where you're going to choke the cut off rotations essentially with the defenders. Open up hatches. Try to clear some of the rooms. Popular spot to sit is right here behind the map desk, so you can get a line of sight here, which you can actually use this to push them in the other room. And then right here on this wall, or this hatch, you have the door to map room objective. I can't remember if there's a way to get to the site. Okay, so there is a way to the site. I see another enemy there. So here's another spot here on Canal. This is the rotation between the two sites. If you want to take it farther, there is another hatch, which you can use this to monitor the doorway. So what this does is this cuts off their rotation. But let's say we're getting low on time, so we're gonna pull off. You don't want to sit there the whole time. So we're gonna quickly peek down here. Kind of want to watch. So that's also why you want to stay ADS. As you saw, he shot me, but if I was already ADS coming back, I would have been able to kill him before he got a few shots off. You can always push different angles. Like, let's say we know that this hatch is clear to drop. Then we can drop it. We can clear sight. Let's say we have sight because they were focused on me upstairs. What you don't want to do is sit here because if someone rotated upstairs, then they would see you. So what I recommend doing is kind of come in like somewhere where you're still covered, but you're good enough to plant, have a teammate support you here, have a teammate watch this angle on the doorway while you plant like right here. Or you can always, you know, rotate to the other site here. You always plant here too because we didn't make a vertical there. The biggest thing I've been seeing my teammates and other players do is they're constantly doing this, and then they're dying because they're getting into gunfights like this. Now in that situation where I ran out of ammo and I have an enemy directly near me, it's best to switch to my sidearm and try to re-engage with the sidearm, because if I just took out 3 of their teammates like that and he didn't hear a reload, he's gonna wait until I reload most likely and then push me. So it's best if you stay ADS. If you're like me and you're only hitting headshots, kind of. Soft walls, always pre-fire soft walls too. Popular camping location. Use the map to your advantage for cover. Now this situation, I don't want to say crouch. So I hear someone rotating. I'm gonna click down. Once again, I'm out of ammo. Alright, he knifed me there. That's kind of why you don't want to reload after every kill, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at here. Also, you can always play, remember how I opened this stuff up? You can always play verticals here, too. also use sledge to create well, these would be sub-vertical, these wouldn't be. You gotta be up one something though. This isn't really a good map to show you sub-verticals, but sub-vertical is referring to playing from below and floor being the enemy. This also does the same thing that, what you can call it, verticals do. It puts pressure on the defenders. It makes them not want to sit on objective. It opens up windows for your map controllers and your aggressors to get into sight to get a plant down. This is also a popular run out location here when you're upstairs objective, especially if you have teammates on the video or watching the window. I like to take Sins and play as DMR up here. People get distracted by his walls. They have short attention spans. I use that to my advantage. If they're a first floor game room, this is a great vertical location too to open up. I would always recommend playing vertical angles with a with at least a 2.5 or some type of scope. Let's say I have a ping on somebody, right? I might aggress a bit. Let's say we know a guy's camping right here, then what I would do is I would just use the vertical in my advantage and start taking them out just like before. I got one out upstairs. You can open up hatches. Because now I have an angle on that doorway. Put another one here. You can always, you know, use the floor metal beams or whatever you want to call this, the thing to your advantage. Because you have a scope, most of the time defender's going to have a hollow. Granted, they could spray up through the floor. If you have people camping the closet here, this is a good way of getting them out of there, playing a vertical. Let's say you don't have Sledge or someone on your team, you can always, you know, use a grenade, go open the floor, and then look through the hole it makes. It's not gonna make a big one here because you can always, if you have a, like I said, if you have someone to ping it, you can always do that. This can be a tricky staircase to come down because you have like 4 points of contact here. You have the 2 site doors, you have the hallway connector. People can hide here. And then you have the shower people that can hide as you're coming off the staircase if they're watching the cam. Or if they have a vault cam somewhere in the hallway. So this area, what I would recommend is I would recommend moving, swinging this, try to clear this hallway a bit. Even if you don't clear it completely, you now have a line of sight in a more smoother area, and then you can start taking control of the hallway. I recommend running and then pushing this. Now, when you do this, because I told you previously, what you call it, don't sprint, you're going to want to get ready to swing this. So as you sprint, you don't want to sprint and then ADS. You want to sprint past this door, push it, hold it, and then get ready for someone else to swing you on OBJ. Let's say you get stuck here. This only works on this map, obviously, but another thing that I've seen people not utilizing is this. This connector tunnel is very good for making a large rotate. So if you're last alive and they're pinning you, you can always drop down that, shoot the guy there, come back. So just remember, don't run and then ADS. You know, watch your windows, pre-fire them if you need to. Same thing with this. You can always pre-fire popular locations. Always ADS when swinging and peeking. This situation, use the map to your advantage. Use objects to hide behind. It makes it harder for the enemy to see you, and it makes it harder for the enemy to try to kill you. Using verticals and horizontal angles. If you come across a team that's only camping objective and they're playing massive traps, use that to your advantage. You know, get a buddy to play sledge or fuse. If you know that they're not roaming, if you know 4 or 5 people are gonna stay on site, go fuse. Fuse pushes them off site so people around objective on your team can kill them. Fuse, you can also bring breach charges, which opens up 3 vertical holes. Or you can bring hard breach if they get the hatches, and then you can still open the hatches and you can do it. Now, with Fuse, you can take a few different routes. Because he has breach charges, if you go that route, let's say no one reinforced hatches and you guys had that intel on your drone from the beginning of the round, you could play gridlock and cut off more rotations with the track stingers by opening up the verticals after Fuse cluster charges. And what you can call it, you can do it that way. Now when playing Fuse, let's go ahead and go over to Fuse. I'll show you something. Let's say we're in this objective, right? Everybody likes to hide behind there, right? So what you're gonna want to do is, because we know that, we're gonna kind of want to come in here. Hold on. It's right here, I believe. Yeah. On this side of the wall. So right here in this doorway, kind of. I want to put a cluster charge here. And then you're going to instantly want to put one right here. And then here. And what that's going to do is that's going to cut off their rotations into the other rooms here. So if they ran from the first one, they're going to run into the second one or run back into the first one and die. Even if it doesn't kill them, it'll make it harder for, what you can call it, them to keep surviving, essentially. Because even if you get hit by one cluster, it could kill you, but it could also knock you 50 HP. Fuse's cluster charges are pretty decent if you know how to use them. Now, like I said, he brings, you know, breach charges. This can open up verticals too for you to get gridlock to cut off. So let's say we cluster charge and we push them off site a bit. Gridlock could throw her track stingers right there, right? And then she could throw them on this door, and then she can come around to the hatch and electrical or renovations. She could throw one in here, and then if they go to shoot those track stingers or they step in them, you're gonna have the you and Gridlock are gonna be able to hear and cut off their rotations and force them where they're pretty much in a kill zone, essentially. Now, if they don't push back to site, you could always do a projector room push. You could hold this, clear this room, or if Gridlock brings smokes, she can smoke it out plant while you're holding this. Watch the doors. Wall bang there. That wall bang is hitting over here, so you can win by using verticals at the right times and the wrong times. Currently, at the time of this recording, I have a 1.7 KD ratio with Fuse, and that's more so because A, his gun is strong, but B, because his cluster charges are stronger when you know how to use them properly. In this situation where I know there's 2 enemies, I'm gonna pull back. I'll pull off the wall, kind of weird rotation. In that situation, you need to learn how to flick quickly to get two enemies. It's like a 7-10 split with a 50-50 chance of surviving. So, I think I went over pretty good things here. Once again, don't walk around like this. Stay ADS. Watch your angles. Flick to popular holding positions, as I call them. What I mean by holding positions is, you know, people holding lines of sight that's very popular to do on defense. Just hold them. Now I want to quickly go to pulse. So we're going to actually go drill settings, game mode preferences, we're going to go to defenders. Alright. So now we're on defense. We're gonna go basement, that way they're first floor. Actually, I want them second floor, I think. No, we'll go basement, that way we can push them up. So sub-verticals doesn't just work on attack. 90% of your pulse gameplay should be done sub-vertically. Alright. Pulse is a very good map control operative. Let's say we have objective up here, right? Let's say they took control of that site, right? What we can do with Pulse, because this is all a software, right? Let's say this fellow right here has a defuser. Let's say he's planting. He can get a nitro cell. And I can still play Pulse's card accents, or I know there's an enemy there. But here's the kicker. I can use this to my advantage, right? Because I just killed the defuser was here. I know it's here. I can ping it to my teammates, and now I have the floor open to get the jump on the attackers. And in this scenario, I also have something I can cover behind that they can't shoot through, so I can shoot either side of it and still be good to go. Pulse's gun doesn't have much recoil at all. Another thing is you can also just play horizontal with them too. You also watch for people rotating. So you use your utility to your advantage. Now moving like this, they're gonna hear that. Same thing if you're crouched. I mean, they're gonna hear you regardless, you're not Caveira. Like I said, when you peek, you're gonna have to do it long angles, hug the wall as much as you can. Here, you're gonna hug this wall, you're gonna swing that, now you're gonna look this way. Face. 2 on here. We're gonna watch objective here. He was doing what I was talking about, make it so the enemy has to shoot you in the head. That's the situation where you want to change to your, you know, secondary weapon. You always come in here and practice your pistol, your trigger finger. So now that I know I'm in a safe location, I'm going to reload my gun. Alright, and just like, let's say the enemies took control of site, they already have the defuser, right? You can always shoot through the floor here, open up his card accents again, try to get the jump on the enemies. You can You'll normally get one before they start moving around, but they're going to try to rotate upstairs. A lot of them think once they put the defuser down that they're invincible. At least in Copper Elo, they think that. That gives you the edge to do it. Again, we're going to switch to our pistol. Don't aim low. That was a mistake on my part. So we know the floor planes are going this way. Other... Anyway, I think that's the gist of it. Don't keep peeking the same thing at the same head level. I just hit him a little bit. Now we're gonna push up. Pre-fire that. When we pre-fire walls, or we know there's enemies in, then what we're doing here is we're just trying to pre-fire them. We're not trying to kill them. We just wanna lower them so they're easier to kill when we swing them. If that makes any sense to you. Alright guys, appreciate you watching this quick tutorial here on kind of breaching and whatnot. Also another thing real quick, I don't remember if I went over in the first video, drone constantly. Drone rooms and objectives before you push it on attack. Drone entrances before you make your push into the building. Drone discipline and aim and ADS discipline is the biggest thing that will help you improve and get you out of copper and bronze. And maybe carry you all the way through silver as well. You know, also warming up. Clear house is probably one of the best things since we had the removal of terrorist hunt, in my opinion. I know they say to go into team deathmatches. That doesn't really work on PC. There's a lot of people who cheat in those game modes. A lot of them use walls and whatnot. It's really not that thing. This is a more controlled environment. You can constantly change your settings if you need to. This is a very controlled environment to do aim discipline and kind of perfect yourself. Consider if you want a high sense or a low sense. Low sense is probably one of the better ones. That's what a lot of Pro League players use. Don't play on 3200 DPI. If you're playing on 3200 DPI, not the biggest deal, but that should only be used if you're playing on a heavy mouse like the ROG Zapata X, where the mouse weighs almost half a pound. But you really shouldn't be playing that unless you have overly large hands. You should really be playing between that 400 and 800 DPI range. Adjust your mouse to the corresponding ranges. Some of them should already have it 400, 800, and 1600 DPI presets. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have other tips and tricks, leave them below. And as always, God bless, and we'll catch you in the next one.